All right, we got Ryan and I and Fisher and I, the father-son dynamic duo. And one thing I think is cool about this tournament, before we even jump into it, I won it when I was a young kid.
Mm-hmm.
You're a lot younger than I was, but I know that feeling, you probably hadn't even kicked in yet. I know the family's around, but there's going to be time real soon from where we're at right now that's all going to kick in. It's a special moment. You're going to always look back on it. This is a really cool day, but treasure it because obviously y'all been fishing it a bunch. It doesn't happen a bunch, but let's talk about baits. Y'all tipped us off on where you're going to be at. We were there with you in the very beginning, and honestly, when I saw what I saw, I thought really bad stuff would happen today. I didn't think y'all would catch. I mean, I didn't know how you would catch fish today.
Right.
Really quickly, y'all started catching fish, which was good to see. But watching y'all making really short casts, I thought would be a problem because I didn't think that's what y'all would want to be doing. Talk about that a little bit, just like the eelgrass on top and how big of a problem that was.
Yeah, it was definitely a big problem. It was not easy. I'll put it to you that way. I didn't think it was going to go as planned, and I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, what Swindle's taught me the most is positive mental attitude. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, it's going to clear out. It's going to clear out. And it cleared out for 15 minutes, and we were able to make casts, and it went down real fast. And we just sat there and kept casting until the hole popped up. And it was like you playing golf. You sling it out there and try to land it in the hole. I mean, we had a couple hole-in-ones, I guess, what you could say.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, it was just our time, I guess, is all you can say.
A lot of times this time of year, you're throwing big stuff, big crankbait, big jig, big worm, something like that, and make it, or even some of the stuff you're throwing, but trying to make longer casts with it. You had to do something different today. Talk about the baits. Like y'all, one was throwing a worm, one was throwing a jig head minnow. Talk a little bit about the baits a little bit.
Yeah, I let him just kind of look at them, and he was throwing the freeloader and stuff like that, and I just took a new worm that Crush City has. It's called the Janitor. So I Nico rigged it, and all I was going to do is sit behind him, because I told him, I said, I've always caught 6-pounders just sit behind him, just blind casting.
Yeah.
So I would kind of watch the Garmin. When he'd scan over, I could see where they're bunched up, and I'd make the pitch over to it. And it was easy to do in them holes. A lot easier than what he was trying to do in the holes, because he has to have room. You know, mine, I can just let, as long as I get in them and shake it, they'd bite it.
Yeah. The Janitor is going to be a highly requested product going into iCast now.
Oh, yes.
Because of this, and this interview is obviously, everybody's going to see it. All over the country's going to end up reading it. But the freeloader, I know you've got a bunch of fish on it this year.
Yes, sir.
And it was, well, I guess Wheeler kind of launched that bait on this lake, really, when he won the Guntersville.
I think it was,
Yeah.
So, like, obviously that bait's got a ton of good publicity already, but then local guys, it's something when a pro angler catches fish on it, but then you see what the local guys are doing, and when they start catching fish on it, it confirms that it's good. So talk about, I mean, obviously you've used a freeloader a bunch this year.
I just put it to you this way. Every tournament I fished, I've caught a bass on a freeloader, and knock on wood, I've only had one mess up, and that's the one I couldn't throw a freeloader in. It was Neely Henry. So it's won me a lot of money this year. It's scratched me up the 3rd place Angler of the Year in the Toyota, and I'm leading the BFL points on it. So
there you go.
We're going to keep riding the train the rest of the year.
There you go. Well, I know those two baits and probably a lot of stuff, other stuff you're going to be fishing, but to the people who are watching this video, they're interested in coming to Guntersville. There's a ton of different ways you can fish this lake. Even the Janitor worm that's going to come out, you can fish that. What you're saying, you've got a wacky rig or Nico rig. You can fish that in 1 foot of water or 15.
You can throw it on a shaking head. I mean, it doesn't matter.
And the same with the freeloader. Like y'all were throwing it on a jig head minnow, but you can put it behind a chatterbait and catch fish on it. I mean, it's a really good chatterbait trailer too. So a lot of fish. If y'all are wanting to come to Lake Guntersville, these guys just won $15,000. 26 pounds of largemouth bass is incredible. And if you want to come fish on Lake Guntersville, you just heard it from the guys who won an Alabama Bass Trail tournament. Very hard to do. You can get all the baits we've talked about today at Academy Sports, and this is the Academy Sports Winners Tacklebox.